All right. Well, enough memory lane. Let's make some new memories. All right. Another week of Vintage Super League coming up. First match is going to be between Chris Pikula and David Williams. So this is a makeup match from last week. There you get to look at these guys. Chris is trying to run his record to 3-0 and Blue Belcher's record to 5-1 for the first set of games. David just trying to get off the schneid, trying to put a win up and get out of that sort of last place spot that everybody fears. I mean, look, it's no shame to finish last in Vintage Super League. Everybody's a good player, but nobody wants to finish last because it's painful. No
I mean,
shame. It's definitely
like
pain.
I haven't won a match yet, and I wouldn't be upset if I finished last in this group of players, but I would be upset if I don't win a match. Like that would be super frustrating. So I think it's more about actually winning games instead of, I mean, someone has to finish last. It's going to happen. It's annoying. But like, you certainly don't want to be the guy that goes like 1-11 or something. That's just, that is terrible. What do you think about the matchup anyway?
I think Belcher's faster is what I think about the matchup. I mean, I think that Blue Belcher just kills faster than Dredge, and it doesn't have to sideboard hate cards because it can just win faster than it can just win the race. So I like the matchup for Chris.
I think it's a turn 2 deck with Belcher against a turn 2.5 deck with Dredge, and both are not interacting much.
Yeah,
like Dave is playing mental missteps, which are okay, but
right. There's a little. I mean, Dredge can win, and there's a little bit of interaction. We can go ahead and look at these player stats too while we chat. I do think that, yeah, Belcher might even be a turn 1.5.
I mean, that is the blast from the past I was talking about. He was actually top 8 at PT Atlanta, which was the one that Frank told me how to play Magic when.
There you go.
Like Dallas, that's another funny story. Dallas, the same Frank Adler played the Necropotence deck, which like it was a good deck, but there was some deck building errors. But we were playtesting the deck after he flew off to the States like 2 weeks before the tournament. And we found some improvements, and like we actually came up with a deck very similar that ended up top 4ing, I think. We couldn't tell him. We couldn't tell him those changes. It was like 1996. There was no cell phones that were working in Europe and the States. And I mean, email. I mean, we could have sent him a letter or something, but it just didn't work. Like we just couldn't contact him.
I had not heard that story.
Times have changed a lot since then.
A little bit. All right, there's Chris. David, meanwhile, keeps chugging along with 3 Team Grand Prix wins. Almost got a 4th one a couple of weeks ago. Couple hundred lifetime pro points.
He did the honorable thing and qualify Paul for the PT. I mean, let's be fair here.
They did not roll over. Like I would not have been at all surprised if those guys had just scooped Paul in and gone to watch the Super Bowl.
You can't do that. The PT points are just, I mean, not qualifying for Worlds because you threw away a PT point there. Paul just can't do that, I don't think.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, if there was not that much on the line, I'm sure they would have scooped.
All right, let's get down to the match. All right, David does not
see hands this time. That's exciting.
Awesome. Oh, Chris's draw is good but sketchy. Yeah, Dave, meanwhile, just has to keep mulliganing until he finds Bizarre Baghdad. Chris can go... He basically doesn't have any blue mana. Like, he can play the Jet into the Expedition map and then just burn both the probes and hope he comes up with blue mana. Meanwhile, Dave going through, what? A couple of Serum Powders. The way this deck works, you just have to keep mulliganing until you find Bizarre Baghdad.
And he has to mulligan again, right? I mean, that's that's
there we go. All right, and he's got a bridge. I mean, needs to find a Dredger relatively quickly. And then he has to hope Chris doesn't, turn 1 him.
Chris kept that? I mean, that's a very
I would keep that. It's borderline, but I mean, you have 2 Gitaxian probes. You have Jet in the Expedition map. And 2
You don't have that much blue mana to cast that Preordain, though.
Well, he doesn't have any in his hand. Yeah, that's what he needs to find. But the thing is, even like a Mana Crypt or a Soul Ring will get him the blue mana via the Expedition map. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not great, but I would keep it too.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess, is Chris on the play?
That's also pretty big in this matchup, I think. Yeah,
Dave's on the play. Yeah. No, if you're, turn 1.5 or 2 combo deck racing against turn 2.5 or 3 combo deck, you kind of want to be on the play.
Yeah. Although Dave has only two draws for a Dredge card. If he doesn't get there, then there's no way he can kill on turn 2.
Agreed. All right, probes into an Emerald. Okay,
that's good enough. Now you can activate the Expedition map.
Not till turn 2 currently, but yeah. I mean, if he draws one
Sure.
more Mox, then he can activate it on turn 1. And there you go, Mox Opal. This hand's great now.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, he gets to go Jet into Expedition Map. He can activate. Oh, he's one short of the Diminishing
Yeah,
Return.
he can't cast diminishing returns. That's not gonna
Think
happen.
about how ridiculous Diminishing Returns is against Dredge, by the way. It's like you're pre-sideboarded against them.
He could
Just
preordain into Mana Crypt. That would do it.
sure.
But yeah, diminishing returns, quite a good card against Dredge.
Just the Time Twister effect is absurd. Like their whole point is, how about we just draw the Academy Natural? Or no, he activated.
No, he did
He
activate.
Okay,
Yeah, now I think he preordains.
I agree. Even if he hits Mana Crypt, I'm not sure you cast Diminish. Like, let the Dredge guy start filling his graveyard up and untap your Academy before you twist.
If you cast it now, you're winning next turn, though, right? I mean, that seems like next turn you have what, 8 mana at least or something?
Yeah, but your odds, you're probably okay. I guess there's not a lot of drawback to Dredge to casting it this turn. There's a chance.
He's not winning next turn. I don't. That seems. I mean, I guess he doesn't know that there's no Dredge card in Dave's hand, but
Yeah, Chris is in great shape to win next turn, for sure. Okay, all he came up with is a probe off that preordain.
you probably don't cast it, do you? Just keep it as a force of will.
The probe I would not cast. Expedition Map I cast, and then yeah, you keep Force of Will with probe and plan to cast Diminish next turn.
Well, Expedition Map is just an island. There's no reason not to cast that.
Yeah, it's Mox Sapphire.
Doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, we need
This
the
is
troll.
Well, found the Dredger. It's not nothing.
He does have 2 bazaars, so
True. Discard, but the bridge and the serum powder.
yeah, surely it's a serum power. Doesn't do anything.
And then he'll probably activate the Bazaar on his upkeep. Use his draw phase to dredge again.
Yeah, I mean,
He could turn to him still, right?
or he could just cast 2 therapies. I mean, that would do it. Like, if he gets to therapy him twice. Like, I think if you cast the first therapy and that gets force of will, you probably name diminishing returns. Because that's the only. I mean, you could name Charbelcher. I think it's Charbelcher or diminishing returns.
All right.
Just because that's the only card that's multiple copies in the deck, I think, that matter at this point.
Fair. So the first dredge hit a Narcomoeba and a Cabal Therapy. He's got the Flamekin Zealot. Now, presumably, yeah, draw phase. He hit a Bloodghast. I still only see one therapy? No, there's 2.
No. There's 2 therapies already, and the Bloodghast that comes into play.
Wow.
That's not looking very good for Chris anymore.
It's going to come down to whether Dave can blind name on the second therapy. Is that what this comes down to?
Might. I guess he can't find this. No, I don't think he can find a third therapy, can he?
Well, he can Bazaar. Yeah.
He doesn't have another. Does he have another dredge card? I don't think there's.
Oh, he's got like a thug. I think there's a thug 2 down. But yeah, it's really hard for him to. Yeah.
Oh, there was a thug.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's too late.
Right.
And there's no further copy of Cabal Therapy. Oh, bridge.
I guess there was another dredger. Wow. This is pretty good for a mulligan to 4.
Yeah.
He's got the 3 creatures. He's got multiple bridge from below so that he can make zombies. Can he bust up Chris's draw?
He might be able to win from here. I mean, if he had a dredge return, it's pretty tough to see his graveyard.
I haven't specifically noticed a dread return go by, although you can definitely see the gold flash from the Flamekin Zealot.
Yeah, that one is easy to spot.
Well, I mean, his next play is clearly a Cabal Therapy, which Chris is going to force a will, so we'll never find out what David was planning to name. And then the second play should also be Cabal Therapy, and we're going to have to see what he names.
I mean, it's got to be Belcher, right?
You would name Belcher? Belcher makes a ton of sense. It's a
There's
4
four
of.
Belchers in the deck, and it kills you on the board. Like there's 7 mana in play.
Yes, I
Thank you.
agree. Yeah, Belcher's probably the right name.
Would
And
be very
then,
surprised if anything else gets named. There we
all
go.
right, here's the first therapy.
I wonder
No,
if it's correct to not force a will that.
really? Let him see your hand? He's
He's
never
not
gonna
naming.
miss. Yeah, I mean, you could
I
totally guess Force of Will anyway.
think he's naming Belcher was the first one.
I don't want to let him see my hand because I think he can miss. All right, here's the second one. Now, what is he going to name?
My money is on Belcher.
He's typing
And
in the name through the UI, spinning through all the cards in the history of Magic. Settling upon, what does that say? Goblin Charbelcher, yeah. He came to the same conclusion you did, which seems like a totally reasonable conclusion, but that's not the card Chris has. Wow. Yeah, no, it's a correct judgment call from our seat, but not what he wanted to see. And now, if there's a third Cabal Therapy in there, he's going to win this game, but I don't think there is.
well, Chris can always draw a Belcher, right?
Well, sure. But now, Chris, with this Diminish, just undoes all the work David has done. Yeah, float mana. Keep the untapped Mox Opal. How many cards do you think they'll draw off diminishing returns? It is a choice.
I think 7. Although it's pretty annoying to click 7 times.
It does default to 0. Oh, Chris can do this without even tapping Academy. It's even better. I mean, he shouldn't have any problems with mana this turn, but it's always nice when you can have the untapped Academy.
He's guaranteed to draw 7 spells. Also, I mean, there could be more expedition maps.
Right.
Those
right,
don't
right.
count as spells anymore.
Yeah, there's about 8 business cards in the deck.
And that doesn't
Twister.
do much.
Yeah, he only drew 1. I mean, he'll run through the probes and see if he can draw something at some other business. But yeah, that's a bunch of mana. But I mean, the Time Twister's going to resolve. Dave doesn't play Force of Will, so this is good enough, but not yet lethal. Pact of Negation, sure. Wants to see a Tinker or a Charbelcher or a Tezzeret. That's what he wants to see.
Not a Lotus spell.
All right. Time to draw 7 more. Time to tap Academy too. Oh no, I guess not.
Lots of Mox Opals first.
Yeah, no, he still doesn't need to tap the Academy, does he?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he's got Zol Ring and 2 Grim Monoliths.
Yeah, Soul Ring cast the Grim Monolith. He's
More than enough.
yes, to
And
either
another
tap
chance.
or sack the pedal for the Twister. I might go ahead and tap it rather than shuffle a pedal into my deck.
Seems pretty unlikely that he would miss on 2 draw 7s, but
Unlikely, but I mean,
worse things have happened.
it can happen. I'm just saying, don't think you need to leave your Academy untapped. I would rather leave the Lotus Petal in play. Oh, he doesn't even need that. He's got.
Yeah, he doesn't even need that now.
Yeah, okay. Now let's see what the Time Twister says.
And miss.
Well, he's got a Ponder and a
And the
Preordain
Preordain.
and a Probe. He gets to see what? 3, 4. He gets to see like almost 7 cards. I mean, actually, 7 cards.
And he's got Candelabra, so there's
Right,
no more mana problems.
Agreed.
From here.
Yeah, this is almost 7 cards, right? 3 from the Ponder, 2 from the Preordained, Gitaxian Probe, and you can reshuffle off the Ponder if you want to see a 7th card.
Yeah.
Sure.
Redrawing again.
Well, that's the backup plan. Let's see what the probe and the preordain have to say. Or the ponder. Probe and the ponder.
But it's surely correct to keep that. Oh, there's a mental misstep.
Funny. Do you force this? You probably.
Yeah, it was blue mana. I mean,
Oh, no, you pay a life. I'm not paying 5 blue mana. It's just you do that versus, yeah, that seems correct. It's better than casting the Gitaxian probes.
Dave has another one, though. So.
Sure. Yeah, which he should use. And then let's spin it again and see 7 more. Funny.
This is turn 2, right?
This is turn 2. Yeah, Chris on the draw, turn 2.
Game has been going on for quite a while, but
yeah, play the expedition map because you don't want to draw it. That makes sense. It'll pay for itself if you ever activate Candelabra. Let's draw 7 more. Yeah, the odds of fizzling do get smaller and smaller as you just put artifacts into play.
yeah, less junk you can draw. That's not much again.
Wow. Just a ponder and a preordain.
Nothing for Dave again. No mental misstep.
Sure. I mean, Chris has the key, so again, he can untap Candelabra for yet more mana.
Yeah, mana problems are.
No, yeah, he needs. Well, a Time Vault is now lethal. He needs either a Vault or a Tinker or a Tezzeret or a Charbelcher.
19 cards in the deck. And we don't know what's removed, right? Yeah, we don't know what's exiled.
Oh yeah, we haven't looked at the diminished cards. That's a good point. Preordain now? Yeah, there's. You can see a good chunk of the 19 that are left. There we go.
Oh wait, is that enough? Yeah, that's just enough, right?
You're right.
Oh, he
He's
doesn't-
got like 18 cards.
Yeah.
It's actually close. If Dave had never cast a mental misstep, then Chris would have to activate it twice.
Which he can, obviously. Like he can
But
activate
it takes
three
a
times.
turn. He might have to say go for the second.
Oh, he's got 2
Okay.
keys and infinite
Yeah.
mana. So
You're right. Voltaic key would let him activate it multiple times. There you go. Blue Belcher. Getting it done. Now a game away.
only needed 6 cards in his library.
He
to
had
win that game.
lost. He still had the Tinker, the Tezzeret. Okay, and 2 more Belchers.
Wow. Yeah.
He still had plenty of gas.
Okay.
Now I don't think
And-
sideboarding changes a whole lot here.
I mean, Dave probably gets access to some artifact removal. I mean, there must be some amount of artifact removal in the sideboard, mainly against Gravedigger's Cage, but
Right.
that
Yeah,
probably comes in anyway.
he's got Nature's Claim. He's got Ingot Chewer. He might go with Chain. So he's got a little bit of artifact removal. We'll get right down to game 2, though. Yeah, there's Ingot Chewer in his hand. You can see. Whoa. Chris has a great hand, but with no blue mana once again.
Yeah.
He's on the draw with a Gitaxian Probe, though, so I think you keep it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that deck has to keep dodgy hands like that.
Basically, yeah. I mean, he's got 2 draw phases to find a blue mana, and his hand's insane.
Dave, main phase Bazaar to find a black card. Didn't get there.
For the Unmask. Wow, does not get to use his Unmask.
He does have a mental misstep, though, which is
True.
great in the matchup.
Especially against
He has 2 mental missteps, never mind, yeah. That Ancestral is not resolving anyway.
Does he have is that a Grave Troll on the top of his yard?
Yes. Yep.
Here we go. Do you misstep Gitaxian Probe?
If you have 2 in your hand, you probably do.
It is the least offensive 1-man spell in the deck. I would not even consider it if I had 1 mental misstep in Dave's seat. And yeah, he's not gonna. Chris finds a Preordain, still not blue mana. Yeah, I don't think I misstep even if I have to. Second Charbelcher is approximately blank.
Yeah. The Time Vault is also.
Well, I mean,
blank.
you go ahead and play it here, right? You spend your 2 mana, and now a Voltaic key off the top is lethal. And there's multiple keys in the deck.
Is it 2 copies or is there a third?
I believe it's 2 in Chris's list. I know I have 2. He contemplated a third for a while. I think we both landed on 2. Dredge the Grave Troll. Dackmore Salvage was the next dredger. Okay, and it's down to Grave Troll goes back. So draw phase will be Grave Troll. It's a bunch of Icarids in there. Now a bridge.
It's at least one therapy in the bridge.
Yep. Solid graveyard for Dave. You get no free creatures though, no Narcomoebas. Does he have a Bloodcast?
Well, he doesn't have
Well,
a
he doesn't
land.
have a land, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he had to discard 2 Necromebius into the first Bazaar.
He chose to discard Dackmore Salvage, which means he does not get a free creature for the Bloodcast. Which maybe, I don't know.
And
He also
Forcible.
doesn't get to unmask. Wow. That was not a super effective turn 2 for Dave.
I'm not sure if you actually want to unmask in this point. I mean,
interesting.
I mean, I think you want to keep your mental missteps, and you need to discard 2 Bazaar.
It's a fair point.
I would think that the unmask is just getting pitched now. But maybe unmask is better than mental misstep. But it seems like Chris has so much one casting stuff. Like Expedition Map is something you want to counter so bad right now. You just really don't want him to get Academy.
Voltaic Key, also a must counter.
Oh yeah, that too. I think you actually don't want to cast Unmask.
All right. Well, mostly Chris has failed to find his blue mana. Right. He had the 2 draw phases we knew when he kept the hand. He drew Probe with one of them, whiffed on those 3 cards. Now he's whiffed on a 4th draw phase, and Dave's just going to kill him pretty quickly.
I mean, it's not that many sources, is it? I mean, maybe 12, 14 at most. It's probably less.
I think it's like it's in the 14 to 16 range.
Okay.
Right. The 4 Chrome Moxes, the 4 Opals count. Obviously the Sapphire, the Academy, the Expedition maps count here. If you count the
Lotus. Oh yeah, it's actually it's like a third of a stack probably.
It's like a third of a stack. That's right.
Oh. I think we're starting to attack.
Yep. Icarids.
There's certainly a therapy coming after the tech step.
I don't think he can kill him this turn, but he can fire off some therapies, make some zombies.
And that therapy has to be Force of Will, because that is for sure naming Force of Will.
Does he actually have... Can he Dread Return yet? It's getting close to where a Flamekin Zealot would be lethal. Depends how many bridges are in there. I see 3 bridges.
He also has a Sun
Dread
type,
Return,
which gets him another Bazaar.
Yeah, no, if he's got Dread Return and Flamekin Zealot, he just wins. Otherwise, he can rip Chris's hand apart and win next turn.
That's getting Force of Will.
I would think.
Probably was Preordain?
Yeah. Yeah, given the choice between resolving an Ancestral or a Preordain.
Well, I mean, he could pitch the other Force of Will.
Sure. I think it's correct to keep the second Force. I agree with you. Yeah, he's not even going to attack.
That's a lot of bridges.
Right. Yeah, those 3 Icarids can make 9 zombies if he's got the Dread Return for the Flamekin. I don't see the Flamekin.
Now you have to Force of Will again, right? Because that therapy is naming Belcher if it doesn't get forced, I think. I mean, you don't name Force after your therapy gets forced, do you? I mean, you might, I don't know.
Yeah, those Charbelchers aren't that good here, though. I guess Academy off the top would let him play but not activate a Charbelcher. I might have let that one resolve.
Yeah.
I mean, if David whiffs, I mean, that's the other thing. Okay, there's a 3rd Cabal therapy, so none of this actually really matters.
What is he naming now? I think he's naming Charbelcher. I mean, there's no mana artifacts. Chris can cast all of them, so...
Correct.
Maybe Tinker? I mean, it's only one off, but like Charbelcher, Chris is very far off casting.
He named Charbelcher.
Yeah. Okay, this game is... I mean, I guess he can draw Key, but...
No, he didn't name Charbelcher. Oh, he named Forcewell.
He named Forcewell? Oh, sure. Name it twice.
Well, if he's got the Dread Return, this is clearly correct. And
Oh
he
yeah,
does
that's
have
it.
Dread Return. This is for at least Sun Titan, and if there's a Flamekin Zealot hiding in there, then it's lethal on the spot. Yeah, with Dread Return set up, I think you just want to guarantee that your Dread Return resolves. Okay, yeah, it's Sun Titan, which presumably he's going to get a Bazaar so that he can dredge a couple more times. Magic just the way Garfield intended, right?
Putting cards from your graveyard into play. Yeah.
Oh, he even gets a Bloodghast off the Bazaar. Funny. Narcomoeba.
I mean, all of this doesn't matter, does it?
Well, if he fails to find Dread Return for Flamekin, then he has to say go, and he can potentially lose to Voltaic Key. Oh, but he's able to keep a Mental Misstep. Yeah, with Mental Misstep in his hand, then I don't think there's anything Chris can draw.
Oh, there's another therapy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's
Well, he's
only
still
Voltaic Key, but that gets mental missteps.
exactly
Yeah.
exactly. Voltaic Key is the draw that can potentially save Chris, but not through a misstep. So is this turn 3 kill for Dave, I believe.
Yep.
Interesting. We'll get to play a game 3, I guess.
Well, there's another Dread Return.
Yeah, like I said, if he found Dread Return for Flamekin, then he just gets to win on the spot. And he was likely to find it. I mean, Sun Titan let him dredge his library down to just 10 cards, so 3 Dread Returns, if memory serves. He was likely to find this.
Okay. So we're
It's only
looking at a turn 2 kill.
It's actually turn 3, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's turn 3. Yeah, his turn 2 was pretty impotent. It was tap bar, and then he didn't have a land. He couldn't even cast a Cabal Therapy. It's turn 3 kill on the play.
Now Chris gets to be on the play.
Yes.
That is huge.
Chris on the play is definitely an edge. So what happens? Does Dredge get off the Schneid, or does Belcher go to 5-1?
I like Belcher. I mean, I would like. I mean, even on the play, I would like if Dredge was on the play, I would probably still think that Chris is a small favorite.
Even if Dredge was on the play?
Yeah. With Belcher on the play, probably like 65%. Not with that hand.
Wow, okay. Chris.
Wait, oh, never mind. Time Ball Key.
Oh, and Dave has a mental misstep. Does he mental misstep Voltaic Key? Dave? Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to mental misstep Voltaic Key in general. It's not a scary card in the deck unless they have exactly time vaults. Wow, what a judgment call. He thought about it and he declined. I think Dave probably was going to regret that decision, but I don't think it was wrong. I don't think you're supposed to misstep Voltaic Key unless you know they have a time vault.
What can Dave even do now?
No, he's dead. Game's over.
No, he can't activate. But like, he's dead next turn.
Sure.
But like, I'm not sure what. I mean, Dave doesn't have anything in his hand.
1 kills. Yeah, Dredge can't win on the first turn, and now Dave realizes that he thought about that misstep. He tanked for a good 15 seconds or so, but totally defensible judgment call. You would have countered. You said. I mean, you can also see Chris's hand, obviously.
No, I'm not countering.
You're not misstepping Voltaic Key if you're Dave either?
I don't think so.
Well, it's just like game 1, he had a judgment call. Didn't he have another judgment call in game 1 that we thought was defensible and didn't work out? Oh, the whiff on the Cabal Therapy.
Yeah, but that
both games, if David was psychic, he could have won 3-0. And it turned, you know what? Nobody's psychic.
I think both games he just made the correct play.
I do too. Unlucky. I agree with you completely.
I mean, he still has like artifact removal in his deck, but I don't think he can find it and cast it.
No, he has no way to get colored mana other than via his land drop. So playing the Bazaar is his land drop. Like, he can't dig for it.
So
wow. He's just trying to think.
Where are we even? It's Dave's main phase? Or
yeah, I think it's Dave's main phase. He's just reviewing.
Seems like he should right-click concede right now.
I'm think he's gonna get there. I think he's gonna sit here for a minute. He's probably like debating how he feels about that mental misstep, figuring out how he's gonna tell the story after the match is over, hoping we're calling it a judgment call rather than a punt.
Maybe he wants to time out Chris because he's annoyed.
He's running through all his options, right?
Yeah, that's been a pretty rough run for Dave. Like the first two matches were also super close, and then he mulliganed to 0 in one game.
That's a great point. Yeah, his 0-3 does not really seem like his fault. Not that any 0-3 feels like their fault. It's not like
I mean, he played very well in these games.
Right.
Nothing he could have done better.
Yeah, he's just. I'm sure he's steaming, but like you and I both came to the same conclusion.
Yeah,
There's
there
the
we go.
session. All right, Pikula wins the match.
So Belcher went 5-1.
Belcher went 5-1, and Chris ties Efro for first.
I do think there will be null rods in the next set of games.
Oh, the thought has crossed my mind. I will admit. I think there will be null rods.
I'm sure there will be null rods.
Yeah, and that's really the card that the Belcher deck fears the most. And that's, like, for me, when I started playing the Belcher deck, a lot of it was because there just aren't that many workshop decks running around. There aren't that many null rods running around either. Like, I played it in the Holiday Vintage Festival tournament where everybody was playing Delver because Treasure Cruise was unrestricted, and that had kind of driven the workshop decks out. And then in VSL, I know that nobody wants to play workshop decks because they're not fun. So,
but Delver can play null rod, right? I'm pretty sure.
Delver can play
there's like 2 Moxes in the Lotus, so.
I was pleasantly surprised that none of the Delvers had null rod this set around. Eric had one in his sideboard in the Holiday Festival Championships. You had one in your sideboard, right?
I think I did. Yeah, I did. I mean, I kind of copied Louis' holiday deck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole situation was the last time. When I gave you my deck list, I already knew the other deck lists, so I really wanted to play like a stock net deck. I didn't want to.
Playing something stock seemed completely fair.
Yeah.
It was the right thing to do. Definitely the sportsman, gentlemanly thing to do.
But yeah, like I'm sure in this series, Delver decks will have null rod. Would be very surprised if there's a single Delver deck that doesn't have access to null rod.
Right, we get to find out what everybody's playing now. We get to see your list first. You're up currently against Eric, so I'm gonna let you go play. 3-0 versus 3.
My deck hasn't been played in the Vintage Super League so far.
It
should
awesome.
be fun.
All right.
It's obviously nothing like, it's not a super new innovation or anything, but it's a fun deck, I think.
Awesome. Well, with that, we will take a quick break, swap out the commentators, let Kai get ready to play. Thanks for hanging out with us, Kai.
All right.
Good luck next round.
Talk to you later.
Stay tuned, guys. Be right back.